Welcome back to What's New in the Lou with Alexis Zotos, presented by Caldy's Coffee and recorded right here at Bucket List Podcast Studios. This is your can't miss weekly podcast, helping you stay in the know in St. Louis. We're talking the best new restaurants, the events that you need to put on your calendar, and of course, the people that make our city such a great place to live and visit. At the end of each episode, we wrap things up with a calendar so you know exactly what's going on this week all across St. Louis. And this week's guest, we're going to talk about a big event that's coming up. But first, I want to really dive into something that we all love in St. Louis, and that's music. So thank you so much, Neil Salsich. He is the frontman of the Mighty Pines. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Alexis. It's great to be here.
I've been following you guys forever. You are really one of those, I think, very beloved St.
Mm.
Louis bands. Do you feel that?
Yes, I feel the love. I love to hear that. And we're proud. We are so proud to do what we do here in St. Louis.
Yeah. Walk me a little bit the beginning of the band.
hmm The beginning of the band, probably, as many great St. Louisans experience. We went to Truman State,
Love it.
so the roots of the band started there. Three of the four members met there, and we spent a lot of time strumming guitars at parties and porches and all that stuff. And I guess when college was over, it was time to get serious,
Serious?
or actually do something with our lives. And it just unfolded. We really had a great friend group up
Mhm.
there, and a lot of those people moved back to St. Louis, and it was actually a really special thing. It set up our band for like some great shows early on. Like we had all these, and we're in our 30s now, but man, this was 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago. Everyone was like ready to go out till midnight on a Tuesday or
Right.
whatever. So it
Couldn't
was,
even imagine now.
yeah, I know. I know.
I think about that all the time. I'm like, wow, we used to just like go out in the middle of the week all the time.
Yeah. It was amazing.
It was fun.
And life is amazing now. It's just
Yeah.
different.
Okay. So how many years total has the band been banding?
Yeah, the Mighty Pines have been 9 coming up on 10 years, which
Okay.
is also just wild.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's scary and exciting at the same
Yeah.
time.
What, I think a lot of people, they're in a high school band, they're in a college band, and then school ends and it's like, okay, real world time.
Yeah.
What do you think made the difference for the Mighty Pines?
I don't know. It's as I was saying earlier, it was like an inverse of that. Like in a weird way, for me, once college was over, it was I don't know, like the art then really came. College was almost a thing, and I love it, but it was almost a thing just to like do, to like check off the list or
Okay.
something.
What did
And
you study?
English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm super super grateful for that. That has informed tons of my work, not just from the songwriting, but just from the communication standpoint
Yeah.
and the writing and stuff. Anyway, um, it was just a time to, yeah, I guess get serious about life and figure out what we really wanted to do.
Mhm.
And it was an instinct, I think. I can't say it any other than that. It was a calling, an
Mm.
instinct, and like an intuition, and a knowing that I, at least speaking for myself, I knew that I could make something happen.
So why come back to St. Louis? If people are hearing that, you wanted to get serious,
Mm,
most people would think, and they might think wrong here
yeah.
because we actually have a really great music scene, but that you'd have to go to a coast or a big city. What made you say, we're coming to St. Louis?
I think two reasons. One was that it was probably just the most sensible thing. As
Mhm.
I'd said, we had such a social group in college that had migrated home, but really we were self-taught
Mm.
musicians, and so I don't think we were at all ready to jump into a bigger
Mhm.
pond or whatever. So part of it was just we were inexperienced, and I think it was the right fit for us at the time. But there is a deep, deep, deep love and connection to St. Louis. It is our home. We are born and raised here, and I know that you know this feeling. I mean, it is. There's something beyond words. There's something so 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 special about growing up here and then making your life here, and it just gets richer and deeper as you go along. So
How were those first years? Tell me about, sort of how you you had this fan base, you said,
mhm.
that came really back to St. Louis. But what were those first couple years like? Doing shows? How did you book the shows? How did you sort of like get into the
Mhm.
scene here?
Just DIY. We are the definition of a DIY band, and I think you kind of have to be that way in St. Louis
Mhm.
as an artist for sure. But it really just started from, and we still mostly book our own shows. I mean,
Okay.
it's just evolved from there. But it's cold calling.
Okay.
It's it's on all the great connections we had growing up here, friends. There was a deep network, when you spend your whole life here, it just really is expansive and all the cousins, the cousins' friends, the guy you went to grade school with. I mean, it's
Use that
everything.
network,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like when you really start to see that network
Mhm.
and learn how to use it, it's really effective. But it was kinda that. It was one thing after another. It was a lot of partying and fun. I mean, it was free beer. That was the light bulb.
Mhm.
Like, it was like, "Wait, we can drink, like, free beer?" And, like, maybe I mean, the money was a joke back then, but
Right.
really the dollar signs in our eyes were like,
Was the
the
free
bar
drinks.
tab. Yeah, and a great meal and stuff. Because at that time, when you're a freaking college graduate, you're counting, pennies, you
Right,
know?
right. So, okay, so you made it in this music scene. When people think of the St. Louis music scene, what do you think is the biggest
Mm.
misconception?
That's a great question. I think the biggest misconception is that you have to if someone thinks they have to go or they have to leave in
Mhm.
order to make it, which it's a very, St. Louis thing to say because we've chosen to stay here. You've
Mhm.
chosen to stay here. There's so much talent that has chosen to stay here. But that's probably what I would say, the biggest misconception. I have never experience the other side of the coin, and
Mm.
I do think there's so much value in that, but you can only walk one road in your life, really at a time. You can jump from road to road, but really once you start walking down a road, you stick with that. So
Mhm.
I think there's so much I just want to recognize there's so much to be gained, I think, from leaving
Mhm.
or exploring, taking that risk. But I think there's equally as much to be gained from committing to this road,
Yeah.
staying here. And um, I will say though that we did a lot of touring
Mhm.
and traveling.
Okay,
And
and
I
where all did you guys go and travel and tour? Like, ooh, s
Yeah, I mean,
Midwest-wide,
no,
countrywide?
our first tour ever was, and through amazing connections of our former, original member, Drew Jameson, who now runs Atomic by JMO in the Grove.
Love Drew. We
Yeah,
went to high school together,
yeah.
St. Louis.
So shout out to him, and he's doing amazing things, for music
Mhm.
and culture in St. Louis. We'll get to that later. But he
A little
was,
deep tease.
yeah, yeah, he had gone to school, in Vermont, and he
Mhm.
had these amazing connections on the East Coast. So we had no right to be, but we were all of a sudden doing an East Coast tour, New York City, Philadelphia, Nantucket, where we still go to this day.
Wow.
We've developed a really special relationship with that place. Martha's Vineyard, Burlington, Vermont. So that was like just right into the fire, and that was so exciting.
Wow, I
And
bet, yeah.
oh my gosh, amazing memories. So I bring that up to say that as a musician or an artist, I think it's amazing to stay here, but it's so important to travel, to
Mhm.
tour. And just as an individual, just as any St. Louisan, I mean, the more every time I travel, um, I come home and I have a shinier view
Yeah.
of this place. There's something really special in it, and it's important. It's just important to get out and then bring that perspective back here.
So you do this tour. What was that like? You guys are in your 20s, you're touring the country with your band. Like, is there a pinch me, we're doing this kind of
Oh
situation?
yeah. I would say there are pinch me. We're doing this. There are also pinch me and wake me up from this dystopian thing. Like I just remember this vivid memory. We drove overnight to our first gig. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Why? Yeah.
Are you in a
Why?
bus? What are you touring in?
We were in our parents' vans basically. I mean, like, so we drove overnight. Once again, I'm not sure the logic on that. We get to Philadelphia, and this is like the germaphobe type A in me. I just remember like we're kind of like loading into our stuff, and I look down and, like, my pillow is in the gutter, like, because it had been, like, packed to the gills, and I'll never forget that. That was, like, the first moment of tour. I was like, "Okay, there's the
Is this
pillow
for me?
in the gutter of the streets of Philadelphia." Um, but so that's just a funny moment, but yeah, it was just an amazing it's almost like a dream that first tour. There was no sleep. It was fun and exciting. My dad and my stepmom flew to New York to surprise
Mm,
me for our gig there, and we actually had kind of a cool gig because of Drew.
mhm,
He actually had serious connections booking. That was such a huge advantage for us at the time. So we were playing at Sullivan Hall, I think it's called, in New York City. I mean, these are venues that I had read about in college on
mhm.
tour posters, like, of my
Wow.
favorite bands, and I'm like, "What are we doing here?" And then I remember my dad and stepmom showed up. I mean, it's so, like, so cool. We had friends that were living in New York City.
Mhm.
That was another great thing about the band that gave us some juice early on, is, like,
You had spread out fan
yeah, we
base?
had friends in Denver and Chicago and New York, just from high school here, from college. I mean, it was really exciting. You'd go, and we were all in that time of life, and we'd show up in New York on a Tuesday night, and it's like word would get around. Every sort of St. Louis expat in New
Mm.
York in their 20s to some degree was, even if we didn't know them, it was like friends of a friends, and this St. Louis band is playing, and we would, sell these great, ticket numbers, early on. So that was a
I
cool
love that. That
thing.
just gave me the chills actually a little bit because
Yeah.
that's a very, I think, St. Louis thing. Like we love our homegrown products, whether
Mhm.
it's our local food, our local beer, our local bands. And yeah, I think that's such a cool concept to be able to be like, yeah, let's go see this band. They're from St. Louis. Like, who knows what they sound like, but like, let's go see
Yeah.
them. So after that tour, how did you guys take the next steps? Was there this moment of, okay, how are we doing this? How are we gonna make this a band that doesn't just fizzle out like probably so many other
Mhm.
bands do? I don't know. I don't know the history of
Yeah.
all bands, but I gotta imagine the fizzle out rate is pretty
Yeah. Oh,
high.
yeah. Everyone's story is different. I know that, I was the guy in the band that was saying, like, "We gotta quit our jobs."
Mm, mhm,
Like, so we had various day jobs. Gerard was a teacher at St. Michael's School. I was working at a recruiting firm in downtown Clayton. There who know we're all just doing various things, but I really, and I do believe this to this day. I think like, you are what you're doing with your
mhm.
time, you know what I mean? And if you have this fallback plan, you're gonna fall back on it. So that was a big step
That was
for
a big
us,
step, yeah.
and
When did that happen?
that was probably when we sort of called ourselves the Mighty Pines. Some of these stories that I'm telling you
Mhm,
were still us, but that was our previous band under a
mhm.
different name. I mean, it's kind of the same band, but it was gelling as the Mighty Pines. I know when we called ourselves when we said we are the Mighty
Officially
Pines,
that.
that was 2016. It was like time to go.
Mhm,
Um, the cool thing about jumping into music full time in St. Louis, though, is not just that it actually made us not just play with each other, but we had to,
mm,
like, make money, gigging around town.
right.
So, like, we're playing solo gigs at wine bars and restaurants, really amazing spaces.
Mhm,
We're starting to play with Sean Cannon's Voodoo Players. Like, and there is this incredible ecosystem here. Of bands, and it's a privilege to be a part of it, and like, it just keeps getting better and better. So I get calls now to sing with this project with, Dave Grelly's Pliadors, unbelievable band. I'm so happy to be a part of that. Sean Cannon's Voodoo Players, and all of the guys in the Mighty Pines have their own,
mm.
uh you know side husles within music, and
Interesting. Oh, I don't think a lot of do you think people is that something that a lot of people
I
know?
guess not.
Yeah,
I
I didn't
mean,
this is news to me.
I it's funny, we all think that, of course everyone knows about it,
Right.
because I'm thinking about it all the
Right.
time, and, you realize, okay, everyone's got their own, world and narrative they're living in, but there's just a lot on any given night. It is really quite remarkable.
How much live music there
Oh
is?
my
It
gosh,
Somebody
it's
asked me this
wild.
recently and they were like, "Hey, like we're looking to go see live music tonight." I'm like, "You can truly find live music every night of the week. It's so many different places, whether it's super small, a slightly larger venue. St. Louis is just an oasis of
Yeah.
live music. Yeah, are we Nashville? No, but we're a different kind of music
Yeah.
scene.
No, it's different. I think about that a lot. I know musicians love that conversation because it's fascinating and nuanced. And we're not Nashville. And do we want to get to closer to that? Yeah, I think so. But also we have this secret weapon here, and I really mean this for any artist. They know what I'm talking about. I know the restaurant folks know what I'm talking about. Um, it's affordable. I mean, so like I don't know. That's one reason I've sometimes been like really close to the edge of moving somewhere because of the amazing opportunity and
Mhm.
excitement of that. Don't get me wrong. But man, it's like I'm not gonna move to another city and then just like have to work a job because everything's twice expensive.
Mhm.
That's a real thing. I mean, and all these places, Nashville, Austin, that are what they are now,
Mhm.
they are that way because they were this backwater at one
Yeah.
time or something kind of funkier. And we really have that um unassuming here. That's an advantage.
Yeah. Is there a favorite venue you've played? Or let me actually walk back a little bit. Was there a venue you guys played that like made you feel like, yes, you're in St. Louis, like, okay, that was a big moment for us as a band to play here, or one you had really,
Yeah,
kind of looked at?
sure. I mean, I could probably say this for most venues in St. Louis, because I was a big concert goer and
Mhm.
going out to like all of these places and sort of dreaming about being on those stages. But we did play the pageant for the first time, opening for a great talented band called Railroad Earth. Um, And that was in August of 2018, maybe, I think I'm getting that right.
It's okay. We won't quiz you
Holy
on your
crap. Well,
timeline.
the band members call me the steel trap because
You just knew all the
I
dates.
have a really good recollection just for like dates and venue, all these things. Although now it's getting to the point where we've done so much where
Yeah.
I'm starting to slide and it's kind of freaking me out. But
But the pageant, I mean, that's an
yeah.
iconic venue here in St. Louis. To be up on that stage, what was that like for you guys?
Um it's all those gigs like that are kind of a whirlwind, so you almost don't remember
Mm.
what it's like. We had some footage of that show that's on YouTube, so people can go see like the early version of the band, which still sounds really good. Sometimes, I'm really proud of what we do and how we've evolved and keep growing. And then I still look back on some of our early years and I'm impressed. I go, because
Mm.
I would never go back and listen to that, but I'll randomly stumble upon it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
these kids aren't so bad, it feels like also on the, I feel like, oh my, what were we doing?
I think most people can feel that way as they, like, watch their own growth.
Yeah.
What do you think has really helped you grow as a musician in this last decade as a
Mm,
band? How do you guys think you have evolved?
wow. I know that we started working with producers on our recordings. That came from that opening slot at the pageant. We connected with
That
that
opened a
band.
lot of
Yeah,
doors.
we one of their members, Tim Carbone, who um is actually the artist at large at Pines Fest this year. So we'll get to that
We're
in a
gonna get
little
to that
bit.
more.
But
Stay tuned.
yeah, he had offered to produce some singles for us. We went to Denver to record those. That was very exciting.
Mm.
Recording outside of St. Louis. Um, After that, we connected with Steve Berlin, who's a member of a band called Los Lobos, which is a Grammy-winning band. I mean, that's the other wild thing about music is that a an a totally incredible legendary band to me might be still unknown
Mhm.
in the broader scheme of things because there's so many levels of fame and
Right.
success.
Well,
Um,
and music is so, personal as well. I mean, heck, you mentioned the Grammys. I feel like the last time I watched the Grammys, I'm like, I don't even know any of these bands
yeah,
because they're not maybe the lit music I personally listen
exactly.
to. So yeah, music is very subjective.
And especially now there's more there's just the ocean is so vast and everyone can make their own little float of
Hmm.
what they like
Oh,
in
I
it,
like
which
that
is a
little analogy.
cool thing, which is a cool thing. Sometimes it as an artist, I'm going, wow. I almost wish it was more mainstream or
Mm,
streamlined, but I don't know. All I know is that I'm an artist and a musician in 2025, and this is the landscape we're in.
yeah.
Streaming and social media, and it just is what it is. So it's you look back and you might long for the way it was,
Mm,
but we don't. I don't actually. That's a myth, I guess. I was not there.
right. We could be burning CDs
Yeah,
still with our
yeah.
computers.
Which actually would be better
Actually would be way
because
better because
don't
we'd
get me
actually own
started
our
on that.
music.
Yes. Okay. That's another
And that'll
topic.
be a part 2 episode.
Yeah.
Caldy's Coffee has been proudly roasting in St. Louis since 1994. Guided by a commitment to quality, service, and community, Caldy's strives to make every cup a moment of discovery. And get this, thanks to the support of their St. Louis community and fans across the country, they were named USA Today's #1 coffee chain in 2024. Visit caldyscoffee.com to find your nearest cafe, shop coffee for home, or even book a free tour and cupping at their roastery. Follow the goat to your next great coffee experience. Enjoy the rest of the episode. But yeah, the music industry has changed, how we consume music has changed, um, which is always fun to then watch a band, how it sort of evolved through this time. What comes next for the Mighty Pines?
Um, it is our absolute best work yet, which is our studio album that has already been recorded and will be releasing next year.
Amazing.
So that, I mean, really, and it's something that when I'm listening to it, it sounds like us. It's one of those examples of where, of course, it makes sense to me.
Mhm.
Of course, it sounds like us to me, to us, but no one has heard it and no one knows that version of the Mighty Pines, if that makes any
Mm.
sense.
Okay.
Like, so I can't wait for people to hear it. It's just an evolution. It's or whatever. Of our sound, and it's kind of vague because no one's actually heard it and they won't hear it for a while. There's a lot of things a lot of ducks we have to get in a row before
Okay.
we put it out. We did release a live album a couple days ago.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's really
So go and check
exciting.
that out. Listen
No,
to that.
yeah,
Where can people listen?
on all the streaming
All the
services.
streaming
And we
services.
will have our first vinyl
Ooh,
albums of that available as soon as possible. They're in production right now.
great.
So
Love
we're
that.
we're a mom and pop shop, folks. Okay, we really are, which is a beautiful thing. But any successful mom and pop shop after a while is going, okay, I cannot do this anymore.
Right, right. And then the other big thing for you guys is Pines Fest coming
Hmm.
up 2 weeks for when this episode drops. 4th annual.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
it's so exciting. That's another huge part of our lives, our professional and creative lives. We wanted to start this festival. We would talk about it a lot, and we'd seen other bands as we
Mm,
tour around. We'd play festivals. There's also a huge scope of festivals. I mean, Evolution is on the big end of things in St.
mhm,
Louis, and Music at the Intersection. But we would even be playing what I would call boutique festivals that were so well done and so tasteful and just amazing all over the country, and some of them were curated by bands, and it had been like an annual thing, and you could just really see that it was opening a lot of doors for the bands. Like, this
mm,
was also a professional sort of strategic move for
mhm,
us because
mhm,
once you get through those first couple years of growing your festival and
mhm.
establishing it, which we've done for the first 3 years. I would say this is kind of the first year of 2.0 Pines
Okay.
Fest. We're starting to make some connections nationally with bands and bringing them in, and then it really just I don't know, it's kind of like a trade show trade, we call it
Okay.
in the business. They come play our festival, we come play their festival, yada yada yada. So, um, it's
Which
a
allows also then others to kind of see the St. Louis music scene
yeah,
as well
yeah.
and see what we're kind of all about.
That's our goal, is to not just have it be regional music, but
Mhm,
national music. Wilco is the prime example. They do a festival in Massachusetts called
mhm,
Solid Sound every year, and it's just they're the focal point of it. Like,
mhm,
so when a band starts a festival, it's cool. They get to still be like the kings of the castle,
mhm.
even if they have huge acts. So someday we're gonna have way bigger acts at Pines Fest than the Mighty Pines, but it's gonna be this magical universe where we're still the biggest act of the weekend, and it's really exciting. We just have big dreams for it. We're inspired by Music at the Intersection. We're inspired by Evolution. One day, that is definitely our goal, to make it that scope.
That large.
But
That's the goal.
yeah, that's definitely the goal. It's sort of the gap between where we are now and that. Empties my brain just to think about. But we just have to take it a day at a time, a
Mhm.
year at a time, and it's growing.
So walk us through what that festival looks like this year? What will it be like? What's the experience that you hope people get out of that festival?
It's at Atomic for the first time. We had done it at the Big Top in the
Mhm.
past, which was such an incredible space. But we're excited to move it to Atomic. It allows us some different things.
That's in the Grove, folks, if you,
Yeah,
don't know.
the former Atomic
Yeah,
Cowboy,
mhm.
site of many a early Mighty Pines show.
Many a good nights
Yes, oh my
in St.
gosh,
Louis.
incredible memories, incredible memories.
Fuzzy memories, but good
Yes,
memories.
absolutely. So there's 3 stages that we have there. That's the cool thing about Atomic. It's kind of like a compound. There's
Mhm.
different rooms, there's different areas, even though it's maybe the footprint isn't that big really when you think about it, but it's very multidimensional, which is attractive to us as we wanna throw a festival. We'll have the street closed off on Talmadge out there. Gonna have food trucks and vendors. So and then the music really, and then hopefully the weather's good.
Mm,
That's like
fingers
oh
crossed.
my gosh, it's that we're just totally obsessing over that, but we cannot control that. So, um,
At this point, I would take anything that is cooler than 90
yeah,
degrees.
yeah.
At
Hey,
this
but
point, I am
totally. I know, man, what is
like, I would rather stand out in the rain at this point in a music
yeah.
festival.
Okay, don't say that.
Okay, I won't,
Okay,
I
I'd
won't.
rather have you 90
But I
degrees.
will come stand in the rain for your music
Yes,
festival.
yes. And the show will go on. If we'll move it inside, like
It's not just a saying, folks. It
no,
does.
it's true, and the folks in this business know that. It's just like the roll of the dice,
Mhm.
no everybody understands that, it happens. SHIT happens,
Right, right.
okay?
What for you is that feeling of being up on a stage, especially when we're talking about a music festival where there's a ton to do in St. Louis every weekend, but people have chosen to come out to see you guys, to see the music that you're putting on. What is that feeling to you?
Wow, I probably don't reflect on it enough, but, it's immense pride, and gratitude. I mean, really, like, when we're, on stage and I'm looking out, so I've been on Atomic, the stage, many times before, and I can picture this, and I know it's gonna be like this for Pines Fest. Um, I'm just gonna be looking out and recognizing over half the faces in the
Mm,
crowd,
mhm,
which they could be from my life here, just family, friends, whatever. And a lot of these people though are people that have become friends because of the band.
mhm.
Fans that like we have this real small town relationship with our fans, and like man, just to I hopefully won't get too caught up in that because then you might
Then you mess
miss.
up.
Yeah, it's true. So all of this is to say that really I'm trying not to think or whatever. You're just getting into that flow state. But when I do see the faces and just look out, it's just yeah, pride and gratitude, not just for the audience but for my bandmates
Yeah.
too. We have worked so hard and we continue like every week. I mean, really, it's blood, sweat, and tears. We believe in this, and we wouldn't have it any other way. It's a labor of love for sure.
Okay, so I do wanna dive into, a little bit of national fame
Yeah.
that you did find yourself. You were on The Voice, right? It's The Voice,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Okay. I was like, "Wait,
Yes.
did I just mess up which show it was?" The Voice. What was that experience like, and how did it impact your life as a musician?
Wow. The experience was a lot of things. Okay. It was because it was from the highest highs to actually I wouldn't say the lowest of lows, but there was a whole other side of it that's not
Mm,
on TV. Right. And I can
interesting.
explain that. But how did it affect my life or impact me as a musician? Wow. I mean, um, it made me a better singer,
Mm,
and I was already made a good singer, whatever. I mean, I had talent, but this was a time where it changed my perspective on singing.
mm,
I became much more methodical, much more curious
hmm,
about singing, about different styles of music. I kind of rediscovered pop music
okay.
because I was around all these pop and R&B singers,
Right.
or like I'm a very old soul. My music tastes skew towards retro, but then I was like kind of in these singers summer camp, as I would call it,
Mm,
which was
mhm.
like the hotel where we were all staying and all these contestants. And wow, I mean, just pop music download to the dome for a couple weeks, and it was amazing, and I had a lot of downtime there. It was a lonely time
Mm.
because
Yeah, is it kind of, like, isolated because
it's
you, like,
very
can't talk about,
isolated.
I
Yeah.
imagine, a lot of it while you're there?
You certainly can't publicly speak about it,
Yeah.
You're also I'm just kind of an introvert anyway, and I mean, like, I'm kind of gabbing with you on this podcast, but I think in a natural setting, in a group setting, I'm kinda, like, observing first,
Mhm.
and there was some loneliness to it, not in a bad way, but it gave me a lot of time to be by myself and listen to music, and I'd take these long walks around Burbank, because we couldn't really go anywhere, conventionally. It
Mm.
was still during, sort of COVID protocols, because this
Okay.
was a couple years ago, but on the tail end of the pandemic, but it was in that middle ground. It was very strict. You couldn't go anywhere, whatever. It was just a strange that was the strange part about it, that it's kinda hard to explain to people because they just see this TV show,
Right, yeah.
and it's so fabulous, and it really is, like the finished product. It's freaking insane.
Did
But
you go back and watch it all?
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Are you kidding? I mean,
I didn't know if you were, like, one
hello?
of those people who are like, "I can't watch myself," or anything like
No, that
that.
was like the payoff, okay? Um,
'Cause, yeah, you don't know what they're even gonna show, I imagine. I mean, obviously, you
no,
have some
no.
idea,
I mean,
but
I'm gonna go back and watch this podcast, okay, and enjoy
good,
it,
good,
by the
good,
way. Yeah, like, I get a lot of gratitude from that, from seeing
good.
the finished product. But, um, God, it changed my life forever.
Yeah.
It was, as, the travel conversation earlier, it was just good for me to get out, get to
Mhm.
LA, and
Sure.
just see the talent there, see the
Mhm.
talent that was on the show, but, the talent, like, of the house band. All these are all, like, serious LA session musicians who are, the house band for The Voice. That's a cool thing about the show. They don't really highlight that because it's not about that, it's about the singer,
Mhm.
but, like, this is the best band I ever had backing me up in my life, and it's all live music on The Voice. That's cool,
Yeah.
and there's no do-overs. Like,
Mm.
it is TV and it's highly edited, but the actual performances,
Those are the legit
that's the
perform
real thing. That's just there's no auto-tune, there's no starts and stops, like, it's
That's
one
interesting.
take, and if you don't do your take, I don't think, like, I didn't find out the hard way, but I'm pretty sure it's like, that's it.
Sorry.
Yeah, like,
I mean, was it as cool as we would imagine, like,
Yes,
seeing those chairs turn around for
yes.
you?
I
Yeah.
mean, can you okay, this, we're the same generation. Here's the crazy thing. I wasn't the coaches for The Voice, I knew they were so big deal, but I had
Mhm.
not really watched The Voice. So, like, I don't know, I wasn't like this big Blake Shelton guy,
Yeah.
but okay. The host, let us not forget, the host is Carson Daly.
Right?
Okay? That was the moment for me, and I was standing right next to him. I mean, right next to him. Those are the moments that I'll just never forget, where
Yeah.
used to watch this guy on
Right.
TRL.
And you're like, "Why have you not aged?"
Yeah, makeup, okay? When you get
True. True, when you get up
really
close, you
oh
can
my gosh, these guys, I was like, is this a claymation version of someone? I mean, trust me, the makeup is thick, okay? And I had makeup they put me
Sure.
on,
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
it was glamorous and exciting. I had never, been in a makeup chair before, and
Sure,
all
yeah.
that stuff. Seeing how TV was made, it was eye-opening.
That is so funny. Yeah, no, it is pretty incredible, like, especially when you think about, just the stars, and yeah, you can get starstruck,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like, I think it's some people feel like, "Oh, we gotta play off being star." No, these are huge, huge people.
I
Like,
definitely, stumbled over my words a couple times, and
sure.
they would edit that out because,
Well, that's nice.
yeah, no, of course. I mean, they want it to be a sleek show for sure. There was times where I was just trying to say something to Carson or Niall Horan or something, and it was just fumbled because I had just turned 4 chairs, and I
Right.
was like my heart was pounding even I mean, it was one of the most crazy things in my life, but it was also so quick and surreal that I in a way, I only have a memory of it, like, from the photos or
Right,
the
yeah,
the
from, like, actually watching it. Well, and
Whew.
I guess there also has to be this, like, especially when you're in that moment, you know, yes, you got eliminated, but, like, it was probably the most incredible experience, but you are sitting there with Kelly Clarkson, who literally won a show
Yeah.
and became because of
That I
that one
watched
show, right? That we
live.
all watched
Yes,
together,
yes.
probably sat there on our house phones at the time and, like, called
Yeah.
in, I think. I'm, like, trying to remember. Yeah, we
That's
would have had a
right.
house phone. No, it would have truly
You
been a house
called in
phone.
to
Yeah,
vote.
you voted
I
with your house
remember
phone,
that.
folks.
Oh my gosh.
Um, but, like, you're watching that, and in that moment, you realize, yeah, the chances are incredibly slim, but, like, there is proof right in front of you that a
Yeah.
TV show about music can change somebody's life.
Oh, absolutely.
It's insane to think about. Um, but I'm so curious, that experience, how like, did you guys get an increase of following? Like,
Oh,
did you
yeah.
get people coming because like, "I saw this guy on TV. He's got this great local band here, like,
Yeah.
let's go check him out."
No, it was quite the, I guess you could say, 18 months after that in St. Louis, you know?
Mhm.
It didn't really, like, make me a star beyond St. Louis. That's,
Mm,
like, one thing
mhm.
you kind of, like, don't really know. You're going on The Voice, and you're kinda wondering, like, yeah, you definitely have these bigger daydreams of
Sure.
being a star that don't really come true, but it was rocking at home, and people were excited about it, as they, of course, yeah, it's just a beautiful thing. We're a proud city, and so people were just really proud, and I was so proud to represent. And it was an amazing stretch of shows. We had like crazy attendance at a lot of our shows. I kind of wish I could do the voice again because it was like,
Right?
okay,
Let's just bring
yeah,
it back.
like I'm used I would like to, it was good for the band. So we're at a point now where it's kind of like, okay, that is over.
Mhm.
Now we really have to, I don't know, really show up,
Mhm.
for our own art. And if we want this to keep going and we want this to keep growing, and we're doing that. But it was great. Yeah. Yeah. So rewarding. And I encourage anyone, if you think, to the singers out there, like, doesn't matter how your age, if you're young or old, or even your genre, like, if you know you're good, then go do it, because it will change your life, and it will just it will you'll have so many bookings, and your phone will be ringing off the hook. And if that's what you want, it's a huge professional step.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the advice in so many, and you said it at the beginning, if you really want to be a serious musician, that might mean quitting that job. That might mean taking that big leap. And I love that advice from when I sit here at this table, no matter what someone's sort of like career path is, it, just do it.
Yeah.
Cause, I think somebody came up with that slogan once, but that really is the kind of takeaway here.
Yeah. And it's, you do it for yourself. You've created something like really amazing, and
Thank you.
no, it's cool. I'm such a fan.
No, thanks.
Really, no, but just as a fellow self-starter, or a
Hmm.
fellow professional, whatever, in St. Louis, that's like kind of, especially now in this post news chapter where you're
Hmm.
really like creating your own
Yeah.
reality.
And that's sort of what life is these days. I think so many people, whether music, food, media, you kind of have to carve out your little
Mhm.
space, and if you're dreaming about it, you got to go for it.
Mhm. Absolutely. Intuition and just the knowing, right? I think that's something we all have in common that is so powerful. You just
Mhm.
have to, you already do believe in yourself, really. That's the crazy thing. You just have to say it out loud,
Mhm.
and walk the walk.
Okay, my last question for you really is on that line of dreaming big. Okay, so you've made it on a national TV show. You guys have toured the country with your band. You've kept this incredible local band going for a decade. You're about to release this big album. What's the next big dream?
Wow. The Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I'm actually inviting that into my consciousness right now. What is the next big dream? I don't really know. I know that it's to tour more.
Mhm.
We just signed a booking agent, which is like
Congratulations.
thank you. That was a huge step.
Mhm.
And that is so much behind the scenes work. All this album stuff. We actually had such a big year, but it was all behind closed doors.
Mm, mhm.
And that's a weird feeling, to just know that you're doing this amazing work and you're setting up this foundation, but it has yet to be revealed yet. But we anticipate like, you know, times 10 gigs next year. And I'm already seeing it on our calendar, the stuff that's being held, or targeted or whatever. It's really exciting. So we're excited to release that. And but really there is no next I don't think there's a next big thing. I think um, it's it's just walking the walk
Mm,
with consistency. Like, with that I think at anyone at this point in my career, and I think for so many people at this point, once the hype has worn off, it's really you just gotta, like, wake up and do it for, like, another 10,000 days in a row, seriously. And it's a slow burn, but, I really believe in that philosophy. And I see that philosophy in a lot of people I admire
mm,
and conversations, great podcasts all across the internet from different disciplines. And, like, I kinda do notice the the common thread with all of them
mm,
is consistency
mhm.
and, commitment and just, like, doing the basic little things over and over again and just trying to get that much better, just that much better today.
Amazing. Well, people can come check you guys out at Pines Fest October 18th. Tickets are on sale.
Yes, absolutely. We'll see you there.
Amazing. Thanks, Neil. So mark your calendars for October 18th. But first, let's dive into what's going on in St. Louis this week. The St. Louis Blues home opener is this Thursday, October 9th. Can't wait for the season to begin. On Friday, October 10th, Art Hill will be doing their film series right there on the hill. They'll be showing ET. And this weekend is a big beer weekend. Rocktoberfest, which is Oktoberfest at Rockwell, will be Saturday and Sunday. Soulard Oktoberfest is Saturday and Sunday. And Brew in the Lou in Francis Park is happening Saturday, October 11th. As always, thanks for listening and be sure to subscribe so you know exactly what's new in the loo each week.